And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a train game from Rio Grande Games called 20th Century Limited. I was very excited to try this one out because it's by the Horgers, who designed one of my favorite racing games, Thunder Alley. And I like train games, especially ones that connect routes, so I was very interested in trying this one out. Let's see how it plays. The game takes place on a map here of the Americas, and on this map you can see that there are many different cities that are marked over the map. The cities are in different colors. That's to show kind of what region they are in. Players at the beginning of the game are going to be drawing some cards and choosing a Region 1 and a Region 2 route card, where they're going to be trying to connect the cities that are in these different regions. They're also going to have some company cards. These cards can be anywhere, and they can connect cities in all different sorts of regions. Each company card shows on it what cities need to be connected, shows where they are on the map, and it shows how many points that's worth if you complete that card. On your turn, you have some pretty simple options. One of those options is to place 1 to 3 tracks on the board. And you just place them on the lines. You can't place them on top of somebody else's track. There's no rules about how you place track other than it has to be on a black line. So if that line doesn't cross the Great Lakes, for example, you can't do it, but there is a line here, so I can build a track that way. You can, as time goes by and people are building different tracks, you can start a track, somewhere else. It doesn't have to be even connected to your own track as you place more of these. When you're done placing 1 to 3 tracks, you also have the option of removing track. This is something you'll do if all your track is on the board and you want some of it back. And you also have the option of skipping a region, but we'll talk about that in a minute. After you have placed or removed track from the board, you then have the opportunity to finish one of your routes. So what you'll do is you'll look at the card and say, okay, are all these cities connected with your routes? And you look around the board, make sure they're all connected. Doesn't matter how they're connected. If there's one continuous line amongst those, then you will show the card to everybody and you will score the card and draw a new card. You can see this one's worth a lot of points because it's very difficult. It's going to be difficult to complete these. However, each person has what are called entry waivers. If you want to use someone else's track, for each track of theirs that you use, you have to give them an entry waiver. So let's say I use 3 of someone else's tracks, maybe 2 of blues and 1 of green. So I give blue 2 and green 1 of these entry waivers. That gives them more entry waivers to use in the future. If you don't have any more entry waivers, well, tough luck. Like I said, once you complete a route, one of 2 different things is going to happen. If you complete one of these company routes here, you complete it, you get the points, and then every track piece that you use to complete that route of your own color comes off the board. All right? If you complete a regional route, you'll notice there's no points that are going to be scored from this. That happens a little bit differently. You will play this card in front of you. These tracks do not come off the board, and instead you simply go to the next region you don't have. So at the beginning of the game, if you complete Region 1, then you would take a Region 3 because you already have Region 2 in your hand. And you'll keep going till you finish Region 8. Whenever you finish a company or a region card, you will move your corresponding disc down here, because as soon as one disc gets to the 8th spot on the board, that's the trigger to end the game. If you want to skip ahead on a region, maybe you don't want to do Region 3, you can also skip, but then you'll flip your token over to show that you can no longer end the game that way. There's like an X on it, so it says basically here, if I skip 2 and go to 4, I don't want to do 3, that's fine, but I just can't end the game that way. And also I have to spend a turn doing that rather than completing a ticket. So again, the turns themselves are very simple. It's place or remove track, and then complete a card, or you can skip a level on the regional section. You also have the opportunity to discard all 4 cards down here if you don't like them. You're always allowed to draw from the top of the pile. But you can discard all 4 of these cards by getting rid of one of your entry waivers and throwing it out of the game completely. Now, at the end of the game, you're simply going to add the points on all the company cards that you have completed. For the regional scoring cards, you're going to see how many of those you've completed, and that's how many points you've gotten. If you completed all 8, you'll see you get 100 points. If you completed only 1, you'll get 3 points. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, it feels like when this game was designed that they played an older game called Transamerica. And in Transamerica, there were some similar things. You put down some tracks each turn, and then when you connected a whole bunch of routes on the board, it was a very simple game. It's actually not a game I'm fond of, but a lot of people did like it. And it felt like they took it and said, let's do more. You also have maybe some shades of Tickets right in here as you connect routes. And it's very interesting the way the game works. I mean, the routes there's all kinds of point totals. They're spread all over the place. Gameplay is very easy. You put some routes down, you pull some routes back there. But functionally, the game is very difficult. First of all, the game looks incredibly bland and boring. All right, well, whatever. Okay, we can get past that. But the problem is, as I look at these tickets, for example, this ticket here is worth 20 points, all right? But I need to connect 8 cities: Wichita, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Kansas City, St. Louis, Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston. Now, I feel that I'm a pretty decent person at knowing the geography of America, and this even shows the dots on here. But since there's 8 different dots, I still have to look, and if you look at the board, the names of the cities are there, but they're really tiny. So you are constantly going, okay, do I have all these connected? No. Okay, I'm going to use his thing there, maybe. And so you sit there for the longest time trying to figure this out. And this will happen on each player's turn. So the game is lengthened unnecessarily. It's not that long of a game, okay? Probably 60 to 90 minutes, okay? It's not a long game. But it's lengthened unnecessarily, and I get kind of bored because I'm watching someone else trying to figure out if they've hit all their routes or not. You know, in games like Tickets Right or something, like, okay, boom, boom, I connected these 2 routes. In games like Transamerica, you've connected 3, and you know you're getting to another one. But here, you're trying to make sure you're connected to them all, or to see if other people are connected, and then you have to pay each person. And so, okay, I'm going to use that one, so you're going to get 1, and I'm going to use that one, you're going to get 1. You know what, I'm actually not going to do that. And it really drags out. It's really unfortunate. This is a huge problem for the game. It makes me wish this was a computer game, because in a computer game, it'd be like, bloop, 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 you have connected all these. You'd be like, oh, okay, great, I'm done. And if they make an electronic implementation of this will be great, but this was very difficult to do. And then, when you do finish a company route, you pull yourself off. So anybody who's sitting there planning and possibly using yours, okay, now they have to kind of start over again and figure out. And there was downtime in such a shortish type game was really problematic. And that really detracts from, I think, the fun of the game. My second problem with the game is the fact that I just cannot fathom these huge routes. There's a route that's 62 points. And I have attempted that route and succeeded in getting it. Yes! The problem is I cannot see how getting a big route is better than doing a whole pile of short ones, because the short ones can go and get done so quickly. And there is kind of this thing where someone gets to somewhere first and it's kind of a race, and sometimes you just get lucky in the cards you draw. You already have something set up for that. And in some games I don't mind that, but in this game that was more of a problem. And I felt like this game just didn't reward strategy equal to the amount that was needed to put into the game. So I really wanted to like this game. I really thought there's some good ideas in here, but it felt like it was like, ooh, Tickets Right and Transamerica. What more can we add to them? And in this case, more actually detracted from the game and made the whole experience a lesser one. So, I think some people will like it, but you're going to need a magnifying glass, and you're going to have to really be paying attention and realize that there's some unnecessary downtime. Maybe you can get through that, and if so, you'll really enjoy it, but it's not really for me. Dice Tower Judgment, cool ideas, but ultimately too fiddly.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
Yeah?